Hi friends, this is Rose from Little Miss Rose and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. Hi, how are you? And thanks for picking this video to watch. If you've been a long time follower, long time no see, I'm sorry, I totally lapsed in creating videos. Most likely because I more or less stopped using my bullet journal for quite a while there. Since probably May, I've just been using various planners or jotting down to-do lists in various notebooks. But since last month, September, I decided I wanted to get back into bullet journaling. I also wanted to actually journal into a notebook as well. So I picked it up again last month and I set it up using some stickers from my shop. I also decided not to film last month's setting up in my bullet journal because I wanted to take the pressure off and just create something for myself as well. So with October just around the corner, I'm going to share with you how I've set up my bullet journal for the coming month. I've kept it very simple this month with only 3 spreads, and I've gone with illustrations that are quick and simple to do. As we all know, October is spooky season, so you would have seen lots of Halloween themes out there. I'm from New Zealand and Halloween isn't a huge thing here. I have, however, decided to go with a Halloween colour palette, and originally this was going to be purple and orange, but once I diluted the orange watercolour paint with water, it ended up being more yellow than orange. So I simply chose a purple and orange colour from each of my 2 Prima Marketing watercolour palettes. I own the Tropical palette and the Pastel Dreams palette. As you can see, I'm just using the paint to paint rough leaves of both of the colours onto my page. I am using an Archer & Olive notebook which has thick pages and it can handle the paint very well, but you do need to be careful that your paintbrush isn't loaded up too much with a lot of water, otherwise it will seep into the paper and bleed through to the other side. So I've just got a handy towel which I wipe off the excess paint and excess liquid on my brush before I actually put any paint down onto the page. It's also good to just have the paper towel handy so that you can check the intensity of the colour before you use it on your page as well. Once the watercolour was dry, I used a 0.8 sized fine liner to draw the outline of the leaves and the stalks. I wasn't too careful on how I drew these over the watercolour. I've left it purposely looking a little bit rough and ready. And then using a thinner fine liner size 0.4, I just added in the details of the leaves. So before I sat down to actually create in my notebook, I created some stickers using Silhouette Design Studio, and I printed them and cut them using my Silhouette machine. And this is purely because I'm too lazy to do any hand lettering this time. I just wanted to be able to stick in the headings for all my pages. This is something I've done a few times before, and it is literally just printing out a black sheet and creating your cut lines as the outside of the font that you choose. This month I've chosen American typewriter font. And then just to finish my page, I flicked some of the purple watercolour onto the top of the page. And that is my simple monthly cover page for October. My next 2 pages will be the monthly calendar, and as usual I've gone with the calendar layout because this works the best for me. I'm decorating the page the same way as I've decorated the cover page, so I'm going to just paint some leaves up both sides of the calendar, which I've already sketched out using a pencil. My calendar squares are 5 across and 6 down. On the right hand side of the page next to my calendar, I'm just going to leave some blank space for a priorities list, so things that I need to prioritise for October, things that I must get done before the month is over. So even though this was a fairly quick setup for me and only included 3 spreads, it still took a wee while. The total time I spent on this, excluding waiting for paint to dry time, was about 2 hours. I have to apologise for the quality of the video in the next wee while. I had a bit of a nightmare with my exposure settings on my camera and it just looks a fucking shit show, to be honest. Yeah, so I guess we'll both have to put up with the poor quality of this video for the next little bit. Anyway, back to what I'm actually doing. I'm just inking in my calendar and I'm going freehand. I'm not keeping my lines too straight because I do like the kind of rustic look. And these are some of the stickers that I put together earlier using the same font as my October monthly cover page. I quite like these stickers, so I think I'll put these together in an actual sticker sheet for my shop, so keep an eye out for those if you're interested. Now you might be wondering why I'm sticking my lettuce stickers on in this weird fashion, but it is simply because I'm a little bit anal and I wanted all my letters to line up perfectly. And if I'd stuck all these letters on individually, I know that wouldn't happen. Some would end up crooked, some would end up not in line with the others. So by doing it in this fashion, everything lines up and it all looks perfect. Plus it's actually quite relaxing to pull off all that backing stuff from the sticker paper as well. And so for a sticker sheet that is actually from my shop, these are just some number stickers. They're printed on clear sticker paper so you can see the illustrations and decorations underneath. And that is my calendar spread for October. I also came back and added some watercolour splashes to both sides of the pages as well. So next up, I knew that I only wanted to use up another 2 pages in my monthly setup. At first I was going to do some sort of weight tracker and an expense tracker as well as a habit tracker, but I know that I don't really use an expense tracker for the full month. I start off strong with the first week, maybe 2 weeks, and then I just totally forget to use it. So I decided to scrap that idea, and instead I've got on these 2 pages a health and habit tracker. So on the left hand side for my health tracker, that's health with air quotes, I'm simply just going to number down the page 1 to 31 for each day, and I'm just going to mark in what sort of exercise I did for each day. Also going to note down my weight and also write down what I have for dinner. So it's more of a meal tracker rather than a meal log. and only dinner, because currently we seem to be eating the same food every night. I have no idea what to cook. I find that writing it down, listing it out, and having a good look at what we do eat, and maybe thinking about some new meals in order to try for dinner is quite helpful. So again, another sticker sheet from my shop. It is just a sticker of all the dates. You can get these going vertically like this one here, or horizontally in either clear, white or black paper. I'll add the link to my shop in the description below, as well as links to any materials and stationery that I use as well. Okay, so I know I said I'm a bit anal about how my letters all must line up, so you're wondering why I did the word health in 2 segments. Well, for some reason when I typed out this word, there was a random no gap between the A and the L, so it didn't look quite right, so I've had to cut the word in 2 in order to stick them down how I wanted them. And a quick shout out to my cute tweezers. They have a really pointy tip, so it makes it really easy to sort of peel stickers off your sticker sheets, and it's great for laying down tiny little fiddly stickers as well. I just picked these up for a couple of dollars from AliExpress. You can get them in all sorts of colours and shapes, so if you need a pair of tweezers, head to AliExpress and check those out. For my habit tracker this month, I've decided to go with a mini calendar for each habit, and I've created 6 little mini calendars for the 6 habits that I will track this month. And of course, come to my 6 little calendar and I make a mistake, quickly grab the correction tape and it's all disappeared. It's perfectly fine, move on. I know that when I first started my bullet journal journey, any mistakes like that would have killed me, but I've learnt to embrace my mistakes and fix them up as best I can and just move on. Mistakes are a part of life. So instead of just using a straight ruler to add lines to my health tracker, I've got this little Hobonichi stencil that I got a couple years ago, and it's got this neat little kind of perforated dotted line stencil bit in it, which if you use a really fine pen you can get this awesome little dotted line. I love using it, and I use that dotted line thing all the time. 100% recommend getting this stencil just for that. And look at that, we're all done already. That's my simple setup for October with just 3 spreads, a monthly cover page, a calendar page, and a health and habit tracker. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a like. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to my channel before. Hopefully I'll have another video out for you this month as well. And if you have any comments or suggestions for themes for November, leave me a comment below. But other than that, thanks so much for joining me, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.